Hey, Action Shelf listeners, before we jump into the show itself, we want to tell you about how you can get even more action in your life.
Mm.
That appeals to you,
More
listeners.
action. More action, you
More
say,
action, you
John.
say. Yes. If you go over to our Podbean patron page, that's patron.podbean.com/punchup. You can listen to Lisman and I watch, what's this? Good action movies.
Good action movies, you say?
That's right. A change of pace. We thought behind the paywall, let's give people something of quality. So
And give us something of
I
quality.
know it's such a pleasure to do that. So twice a month, you and I will be doing commentary tracks that you can download for
Yes.
good action movies, all kinds of awesome stuff from a lot of our heroes like John Woo, and we've done stuff from the John Wick franchise and Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the guys we never get to talk about on here.
Yeah, stuff we legitimately love and love to share with you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can listen to that as well as other cool exclusive content from the Punch Up Entertainment Network shows. Once again, the address for that is patron.podbean.com/punchup. And now, into the action.
The Action Show. The Action Show. The Action Show. The Action Show.
Welcome to the Action Shelf. The podcast celebrates the glory of B action movies. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Listman.
Oh, Listman, the holidays continue to give us such treats. Oh, such
The
treats.
holiday season.
With rioting and kung fu things. Yeah, here we go. Listman, it's what says the holidays more than riot?
Riot. They could have called it the Christmas Eve riot. I think somebody even mentions that in the movie, but instead they just went with riot.
Yeah,
Um,
they did. I mean, and it's interesting. On IMDb, they have like the box art for the VHS of this, and it does start with Christmas Eve. And according to this, it says it's Christmas Eve 1999. So this movie is technically set in the near future when they made it.
Ooh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you really
It's
get
so
that
prescient.
sense. Yeah, you really get that sense watching it too. No, yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of place and time involved in this movie.
yeah. Where is this movie set?
Where and when is a great question, John.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's supposed to be Los Angeles,
sure.
but
We were talking a little bit beforehand that this is very clearly inspired is maybe the wrong word, but inspired by the 1992 LA riots.
right. Yeah.
So we're assuming that's maybe where this is taking
Well, because
place.
I mean that was 4 years before this, and that was a huge, obviously, national news thing, and I think
Sure.
I'm sure that was in their minds, and a lot of the imagery in this movie, I can't be sure because here's the thing: some of these movies I have there is literally no background to be found on this movie. I don't have a budget. I don't have a single thing about the making of this movie. This movie was made. Nobody bothered to record anything about the making of it.
This all makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, this makes sense if you see it. But I will say, if they're not actually using real footage from those riots, they're definitely echoing things. This looks like footage of the LA riots. Although
Right.
I see here in the IMDb, I do have that it was shot in Arizona, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
probably for tax reasons, as always.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, with and then of course indoors, on studio sound stages in LA. But yeah, man, this movie. Here's an interesting thing I was thinking about as I was watching this movie, Elizabeth. This movie has in it so many of the things we love in action movies. Yet, why did I not enjoy it?
It does feel like the creator, the director / writer, had a checklist, you know,
Yeah.
and he was checking it twice to see if every element of any action movie that's ever existed is in this film.
Because, I mean, it does have so many of the things we love. Motorcycles, guys on fire, rocket launchers, helicopters.
Explosions, yeah.
But all of it is so...
diving through the air whilst firing two guns, you know.
There are... Gary Daniels leaps through the air in slow motion like 8 times in this movie.
Yeah.
But it's all so boring at the same time. It's really interesting. It's just... I don't know what it is. There's just no artistry on display. There's no investment of anything. At no point did I go, oh, cool, even though what was being presented to me was, if I was to describe it, you would say, well, that sounds cool. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just not for some reason.
It's interesting because I feel like they were going for something with this movie. You know what I mean? This doesn't feel like a tax write-off, which is what probably the biggest slam we have on these films.
Well, last week's movie, Santa with Muscles, was literally a tax write-off for The Wolf of Wall Street. So
yes. Like, it did seem like they were really going for something.
This doesn't feel as checked
I had for that was at the very first credit, when the credits rolled, was the stunt coordinator. So they're like, okay, well, they know where their bread is buttered, I suppose.
Well, and it doesn't fail on that level. Like, there's nothing wrong. It's something in the cinematography and the editing or something, because this is our first time. We should talk about this. Is our first time watching a Gary Daniels movie.
Yes.
And Gary Daniels is another icon of straight-to-video action. There are a billion Gary Daniels movies we could do if we wanted to.
I could see that.
He's
wanted to, yeah.
He's made a ton of these. Gary Daniels, I did look him up here because being a fan of action stuff, I'm loosely familiar with who he is, but I can't say I've seen a lot of his stuff. But I wanted to just check out his, resume and his sort of bona fides, if you will.
Just to be thorough, you know, we definitely had to check him off the list.
He is a world kickboxing champion. He has a boxing record of 22-2 with 21 knockout victories. He also is a Taekwondo champion with a 13-3 record. Now, and they should note here that all of his defeats were by disqualification, not that he was ever actually beaten.
I mean, he kicks real good.
He does.
You can't argue with that.
No. He is. I mean, the guy. He is also trained in Muay Thai, Taekwondo, boxing, ninjutsu, and Northern Shaolin Kung Fu. I mean, the guy's got the goods. But it is a thing where I'm looking at a British martial arts expert, and I'm going, this guy's no Adkins. Not even close. Nowhere near the charisma of an Adkins.
No, because Adkins is an actor as well as a martial artist.
That's it, exactly.
He's both.
Now, I will say there is a movie with the two of them that we should probably watch at some point.
I will watch that.
Yeah.
Because Scott is in it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's Scott. I mean, it does make sense at some point the two British martial arts guys were in a movie together.
Yes.
But yeah.
But John, you were mentioning why the action sequences don't feel right, and you mentioned a couple of things, and I think the editing.
There's something wrong with the editing,
because there are several action sequences in this movie where I wrote down, "This is still going?" ?
Yeah.
Like the first fight in the bar.
Oh my God!
Kind of it nenever stops. Like they had to get through the whole song for some reason, which was
that fight
such
scene.
A needle drop.
Oh my God! Jeez, the music across the board in this movie.
The guy running down, or Gary Daniels running down the parking structure.
That scene
that
is
had
like
an endless number of floors. And
that
just
scene,
like, this has to end at some point.
That scene got cartoonish. That scene got so silly to me when he's outrunning cars going.
He's outrunning cars, and then he gets a car for some reason, and then it's
like they have to be going down the parking garage and then back up the parking garage, and it is like.
Make any sense.
In my memory, that's half the movie. Is that scene?
Yes.
I think
it's just there's not really a sense of pacing as far as action. Like the action, like the very first fight in the bar could have just been short and sweet. It shows that the two protagonists are good with their fists.
That's all it needs to do story-wise is establish the fighting ability of our main characters. And instead, I don't know, that seems like 10, 15 minutes?
It's crazy. It's so long, and it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie. So it's just, it feels so overindulgent.
The other thing I think that's on top of these things feeling long, and especially in the hand-to-hand scenes, and this is something I thought about, is we love martial arts movies, but Gary Daniels is a great martial artist, but nobody else in the movie is. So it's not like if you're watching a Donnie Yen movie and he's fighting another guy who's equally good, I'll watch a 20-minute fight scene because they're going back and forth. But this is just Gary Daniels kicking one guy, then another guy, then kicking another guy, and you're going, well, that's not that exciting.
Well, it's a series of Gary Daniels being surrounded by people who are waiting to get punched and or kicked in the face.
No, and it is exactly the thing people make fun of in martial arts movies, which is a big circle of guys and they all come at him one at a time. When they're on the motorcycles and they're circling him, that was so. There are like 3 separate motorcycle chases in this movie. Yes,
and there's 3 separate fight scenes where he's surrounded by people who are attacking one at a time, but it's just escalating. So it's just them in the bar at first, and then it's a bunch of hockey hooligans.
Oh, the hockey hooligans
on roller skates.
I will say,
which was very good.
I will say, this movie '96, Batman and Robin '97, they beat Batman and Robin to hockey hooligans.
They are this movie is a fucking pioneer. Truly,
that was so early in the movie. I was like, "Oh, it's this kind of movie." When a gang of all of a sudden, I was talking about this being an Escape from New York ripoff, but all of a sudden it felt like a Warriors ripoff when the hockey team showed up.
Yeah,
but of course, don't watch this. Go watch Escape from New York or The Warriors, or do both of them. Those are great action movies. This is a terrible action movie.
This movie is so dumb. It's so juvenile.
Dumb. It's so dumb.
In its conception.
And because this is our month of holiday movies, the Christmas shit in this is horrible. When it just stops to be like, Christmas time. Oh, if only. What about? Oh my God! It's at the end of the movie, but I got to talk about when the random reporter who gets one thinks about the first Christmas on a night like this.
Oh my God!
Where is this coming from?
I don't know. And all of the reporter stuff was so ham-fisted.
Yeah,
it's like really trying to pretend like this movie's about anything at all.
The biggest thing I think we were saying is the fact that this movie never indicates what these riots, what caused them, this is unclear.
The riot wasn't planned, or it wasn't part of the villain's plan at all. It's just pure coincidence.
Yeah, it is. Like, I don't. Oh, we'll get into this movie, man. But hang on, let's talk about who's responsible for this movie before we dive into the thing itself. This is directed by Joseph Merhi, who delivered this guy. We could just do this guy's movies because I'm just going to read you some of the titles of the movies he's made. Let's talk about this. Mayhem, Hollywood in Trouble, L.A. Crackdown, The Killing Game, Heat Street, Fresh Kill, Glass Jungle, L.A. Heat, Midnight Warrior, L.A. Vice, Night of the Wildling, Killer's Edge, Maximum Force, Final Impact. I mean, all of his movies are Zero Tolerance, Direct Hit, Executive Target. Yep. Everything he does is
terrible.
Is action shelf stuff. It's insane. This guy is just
no. I'm seeing a movie he produced called Y2K. Starring Lou Gossett Jr.
Y2K.
Also called Terminal Countdown, depending on who you ask.
Well, Terminal Countdown is definitely an action shelf title.
Yeah. Oh, Malcolm McDowell's in this movie.
Oh, man, those are good actors, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I've got one we have to do that he produced. Land of the Free. Jeff Speakman, William Shatner.
Oh, no.
It's a Shatner. It's a Shatner political thriller and martial arts. Have we done a Speakman movie? I can't remember if we've done Jeff Speakman.
I don't think so.
It's amazing as we've been doing the show for 2 years now, and we still haven't hit all the martial arts guys. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
There are so many of these guys.
Did he do? Wait, I'm seeing Recoil, produced Recoil.
That's a different Recoil with Gary Daniels.
Oh, Jesus, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Well, we were talking about before we got on here that because he's done several movies with Mr. Daniels, and the one I was let's see where I was looking here. There's one I'm saying we have to if that'd be a threat for us to do is he did a Gary Daniels not Scott Chad McQueen buddy cop movie.
Oof.
That would be
Jesus.
Could you imagine that? That's got to be horrible.
Yeah, that's if we're very naughty this year. Santa Claus will.
Let's get to the end of next year and see how we do with that. If we've done poorly, we'll have to watch that.
Now I'm seeing here he also produced a movie that I think sounds very interesting. 1997's Bikini Summer 3: South Beach Heat. Now this seems like it could be something.
Now I'm looking at this. This seems very interesting. This movie seems very interesting to me.
Anna Nicole Smith, Exposed.
Yeah.
That's weird.
There you go. I think he did, and I've talked about doing this one. There is an Anna Nicole Smith starring straight-to-video action movie, and he did produce it. It's called Skyscraper. That's another one that, like, I don't know if I could handle that. But we probably do need to talk about it.
Probably should, yeah.
Because it's just that's so fucking misguided. And if you think there's not, just looking at the IMDb photos, if you think there's not a gratuitous shower scene with her, it's one of the stills on IMDb. So this guy, that tells you a lot. And then weirdly though, he's produced a couple of studio movies as a co-producer that he must have found his way into because he did he produced a David Mamet movie, Liz, when he produced Spartan, which is a good David Mamet. That's a David Mamet action movie that's very good.
Is he friends with somebody, or
it's gotta be because he produced a couple like Warner Brothers movies in the mid 2000s. He must have known somebody somewhere in there. He did produce a Van Damme movie, Lisman.
Okay,
Inferno, or Desert Heat, depending on who you ask.
God, it's so many of these movies. It's
except for this one.
I
This
love
is just
the
right.
alternate title. I love the alternate title.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
Oh, this does look like an action shelf movie. The tagline is "Left for Dead, Burning for Revenge." Van Damme, Desert Heat.
I'm just saying, if we ever made
it's Van Damme
action shelf movie, it would need 2 titles.
It would need at least 2 titles. I will say also Van Damme, Pat Morita, Danny Trejo in that. We've got to do Inferno or Desert Heat.
We're definitely doing that.
That sounds... Oh, apparently there are different titles because there's a debate about the preferred cut. There's a director's cut of that movie. They butchered Desert Heat. I'll tell you that right now.
Release the Snyder cut.
But I do like that this movie, I believe, is just Riot. They knew that right from the start. This had to be Riot.
Yes, apparently.
So yeah, this movie is Riot. It is about a riot on Christmas Eve, 1990. Oh, apparently in Germany, this movie is called Night of Terror, though. Ooh, and then another foreign title. I kind of wish it was called this, Lisman. Lethal Christmas.
Ooh, yeah, have Christmas somewhere. Yeah,
lead with that. Lead with the Christmas.
Yeah.
Because when we were putting together we were going to do all Christmas action movies, I just literally Googled Christmas action movies, and this was on like every list of the Christmas action movies.
Right.
Because it is sort of like, it is kind of like it is hard actually. I don't think we can do Christmas action movies again because they're really, it's like you get your Die Hards, your Lethal Weapons and stuff like that, and then it kind of descends into like, I don't know.
Yeah, into some weird bullshit. I mean, we might have to stick with holiday disaster movies.
Oh, we love a holiday. I mean, not to spoil next week's show, which will be our last one for that will actually lead us to Christmas. But oh man, we've got more than one disaster next week.
Those are. I think those are dime a dozen. I think this type of Christmas action movie is a little bit more limited.
Oh, there it is. I just found it's Firepower is the one with Daniels and McQueen. Boof.
Okay.
Boof. also set in the near future, apparently, and about street gangs. Oh, listen, okay. I don't know that I would go so far as to say this movie is actively racist, but it definitely plays into heavy stereotypes.
It is like the 1990s equivalent of trying to be progressive, you know what I mean? But still coming up short and being racist.
Because I mean, every gang member in this movie, the main gang member leader, I think he says motherfucker in every one of his lines.
He also does have a pimp cane, which I thought was very funny.
That was funny. But then they try to balance that out with the kindly black family.
Well, yeah, they put that in there because somebody's like, "Hey, this movie's like real racist. We should probably
aside from every black person in it is a vicious gang member or is his partner who will die halfway through the movie.
Yes.
The given as soon as they introduce Sugar Ray. By the way, we should mention heavyweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard, one of the greatest boxers who's ever lived, is in this. Why?
He is.
Why is he in this? It's so weird.
It is. It is really weird, and he only has one fight scene, I believe.
He does. Yeah, and it's weird that he. I'm just looking to see here what exactly. Sorry. I'm sorry. I said heavyweight. Welterweight champion is the. Believe it or not, I don't know my boxing super well. But he is an Olympic gold medalist in boxing. I mean, this guy is a welterweight champion of the world. He is one of the greats all time, and doesn't really have much of an acting career. He certainly has played himself a number of times in things. But I think this is one of his few acting roles, and it's so weird that it's him because this is a nothing forgettable part. And I keep going, that is the legendary Sugar Ray Leonard.
That could have been anybody.
It really could have been anybody. And I don't think he's bad per se. How could you be bad in this role? It's not. I mean, he's not good, but I'm just saying, like, it's a shit role in a shit movie.
That's true. I mean, he's not any better or worse than Gary Daniels.
I think that's kind of what I'm reacting to. But it is interesting that he didn't really do other acting. And I don't think he would have had any. I don't think he would have had any more or less success than Gary Daniels did.
Yeah.
He is apparently best pals and frequently attends boxing matches with Michael J. Fox. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Fox, good dude.
Yeah, I mean, I nothing here, and he does a lot of he has a lot of his IMDb credits are consulting on boxing movies.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that he's there to consult to make sure the boxing looks legitimate.
Yeah.
And I will say, I mean, much like Gary Daniels, in that one fight scene when he throws a punch, he looks good. He looks good.
He does.
He knows what he's doing.
True.
But it is just like, okay.
The acting pool, the talent pool of acting in this movie is pretty shallow.
I'd say there's one good actor, and that's Charles Napier, who plays the general, because you've seen Charles Napier play a billion generals.
Police officers, racists.
Yeah,
you know, he does.
He's the guy. I always think of him from Rambo: First Blood Part 2. He's the guy who abandons Rambo, and then he's like, Murdoch, I'm coming for you.
See, I always think of him as the guy from Blues Brothers.
Yes,
the racist Southern
Blues
guy.
Brothers. He plays one of the main cops in Silence of the Lambs. I mean, Charles Napier. By the way, he was the voice of the Incredible Hulk on the 1970s Incredible Hulk show. He was the one going.
Was he?
He did all those sounds for the Incredible Hulk.
That's
because he's got that deep kind of.
That seems kind of beneath him, but then again, so does this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a you go in once and record all the voices, right? For that, you just do now. Give us Hulk angry, and then you have that.
Yeah, he worked for maybe 45 minutes for audio clips used for the entirety of the show.
Yeah, so, he was the voice of the chief of the Men in Black on the Men in Black animated series.
Okay.
And I know his voice because he's in a lot of Simpsons episodes. They frequently used him if they needed, like, prison warden, military general. They'd bring in Charles Napier a lot on The Simpsons. So.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he has nothing to do in this movie. You talk about this being beneath him. What, he work a day? He's in, like, 3 scenes.
Yeah. Yes.
He's
basically not in this movie.
No, he's just there to go, this is your mission, son.
Yeah.
Because... something I didn't know what the plot of this movie was, other than I knew it was about a riot on Christmas Eve. I did not expect that it was about the British ambassador's daughter being like we're talking about. The riot doesn't matter to the plot. It is just a dangerous thing around, as Gary and also because of the budget, you don't get much of a sense of a riot. Like, the riot has, like, happened. It's almost like there aren't a lot of people on the streets in this riot, which is weird.
Because it's kind of post-riot, I think. Because, like, the opening credit or opening sequence is supposed to be the riot.
The movie's called Riot, and the first thing I wrote is I just went, yep, it's a riot.
It certainly starts out as a riot.
And you can tell it, once again, but even that footage is pretty cheap. It's like they're wrecking one cop car, you know?
One cop car, one storefront, you know?
And it's a group of 15 to 20 people that are rioting, you know? It's not...
It implies that there's more rioting happening in other blocks of the city.
Well, thank God we have the news reporters to tell us how bad the rioting is. But then the idea... that it's a rioting so bad they're shooting down news copters. Whoa, that's pretty fucking. We've had multiple big riots in our lifetime, Lisman. I don't remember anything where people had rocket launchers on the ground.
Not really, yeah. And nobody's really calling out how ridiculous that is.
Yeah.
Because why would they? Movie
I don't know
ridiculous.
Why this movie didn't just go full post-apocalyptic. Or the movie the movie they're ripping off is Escape from New York. And remember, the whole thing in that is New York has been walled off and is basically it's been given up. Like, the government has given up on New York. It's a war zone.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie wants to do with this riot, where it's just like, in the middle of this war zone, a guy has to go in and get somebody out.
But the stuff with the news reporter, like, that really bothers me, because if it was just a stupid movie about, well, I mean, it is a stupid movie about nothing.
Yeah.
But why put any amount of, like, I don't know, like, don't try to either actually explore what goes into these kinds of situations, or don't touch it at all.
Yeah.
Because it's really, really complicated. And you and I, John, do not have, like, the knowledge base or sociology degrees required to get into it.
But nor does anyone involved in this movie.
No. But it's just, why
it's
have
very
it at all?
loaded. It's very loaded.
Why have it at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say that the news reporter was maybe one of the better actors in the movie, if that makes any sense.
I have seen that guy in other stuff, too. He's another guy where I've seen him. Kenneth... Oh, is this him? Yeah, Kenneth Tygar is this actor's name. Oh, my God! I know exactly who he is. He looks so familiar to me. He's in the Avengers. He's the German guy that stands up to Loki and says, "There are always men like you." And he does the whole, and Captain America comes and says, he has a great, that's one of my favorite scenes in Avengers, where he's like a Holocaust survivor who's like, "I'm not going to bow to you." Great stuff, man. I mean, he is, but you look, he's in Lethal Weapon 3, and he's on TV all the time, and he's a real deal character actor, who once again comes in and does 2 news reports in an hour.
Yes.
And he's out of the movie. I agree. But his dialogue is so silly. And you're just like, what newscaster has ever spoken like this?
Nobody. Yeah. I think he's trying to, like, do the thing where, like, this is unprecedented. So we're going to sit down and really talk about it.
That goes back to the thing, though. It's like, it's unprecedented. But then all that does is make me go, well, then why is it happening? What has happened that has not only led to a riot, but has led to the single worst riot in the history of the world, where people have... I'm sorry. as soon as a rocket launcher is fired in a major metropolitan city, that's huge. That's war. That's like there's a war in the streets, you know.
Yes.
And you're like,
exactly.
that's not like the whole LA gang in this movie is way too well put together too. Like they're presented as a street gang, but they're also like international terrorists.
Is the movie implying that? Because the movie doesn't say anything, but is the movie implying that this LA street gang is being funded by the IRA? That's where they're getting this military equipment?
It seems like they're in league with each other, which is also, that's another thing I wanted. It's such a 90s thing. IRA bad guys are a very 90s action movie thing. I think about a much better action movie, Patriot Games, that has that. Or like there's a Miami Vice episode with it. It was a big concern at the time. There's a Columbo about where he goes up against Irish terrorists, and you're going like, it was a big thing at the time. There's a podcast I really enjoy called what is it called? It's called what the hell is it? Now I'm blanking. I love this podcast. Unclear and Present Danger, and they talk about 90s political thrillers. But they're talking about one of the things is in that all like post Cold War, pre-war on terror action movies, right? And they're talking about that was a time when they were searching. We don't have the Soviets anymore, so you're searching for new bad guys. And IRA was one that they hit on, like a lot of stuff, a lot of those movies. Yeah. And this is right in that time when it's like, who could be behind this? Because if this movie was made in the 80s, it would have been the Soviet. It would have been like Invasion USA, right? It's the communists coming. But we don't have that in 96, so it's IRA. And you're just going like, man, why would the IRA bother to put this plan together? You're telling me this is easier than doing something in England?
I thought it was implied that the IRA was doing this specifically to get Gary Daniels.
Which makes even less sense.
Of course, yeah.
Because there's a whole thing with the personal vendetta between him and the IRA guy, which comes into the movie. Number one, the IRA comes into the movie in general so late in the game that you're like, wait,
very
what?
Late. And becomes the sole villain of the movie.
They show up, they kill off who we thought were the main bad guys. That's not how you structure a film.
No, and they were worse villains. I would say ultimately they were worse villains.
I don't know that his performance is good, but I did like the main guy. He was going for it, you know what I mean?
He was going for it.
He gets that crazy monologue about, I did write down one of his lines in there. And they had, he had his boys, Blaze and Shy Boy. You know, and then at a certain point we just get Patrick and Brian. The O'Flahertys.
Was the character's name Patrick?
The brother was Patrick. Brian O'Flaherty is the main guy, and then his brother Patrick O'Flaherty.
Because the actor playing Brian. Okay, I went on a journey with this guy. I started out when I watched this movie and first heard him speak. I was like, that is a man who does not know how to speak with an Irish accent. This is very clearly not an Irish person.
Yeah.
Then the credits rolled, and I saw the actor's name, and I thought maybe
the most Irish. Yeah, go ahead.
Patrick Kilpatrick.
Patrick Kilpatrick. That's as Irish as it gets.
That's pretty Irish. So then I'm like, is it that he just has an Irish name? Or is he just such a bad actor that he sounds like he doesn't speak with an Irish accent?
Did you look up where he's from?
No, I did not.
He's from Virginia. He's an American.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. That is what I thought.
It is. Yeah. He is not an Irishman.
Both of the brothers are so bad.
Oh, no, you won't be getting me gold. I mean, it's total leprechaun.
I was literally shouting Lucky Charms quotes at them because that's so comically Irish.
They are at Lucky the Leprechaun level of, and I will say Patrick Kilpatrick has many, many credits in big movies, but he is always, I think just because of how he looks, he's played a henchman in a billion action movies.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy's been killed.
Not be a main villain.
This guy's been killed by every major action hero, man. Seagal, Schwarzenegger, Tom Cruise, Kiefer Sutherland killed him on 24.
Yeah.
He got killed on Chuck. He got shot by David Caruso on CSI Miami. You know, I mean, like, this guy's just been around where you're going like, wow, man. He just, I will say, he put out a memoir, which you've got to read, obviously. No, but
Must.
I don't want to read it, but I did like that his memoir was called, where was this here? It's oh damn it!
Killed by Legends.
It is. It's something in that vein. Yeah, I'll find it here in a second. But yeah, it is. It is him talking about like it is like he's a It's something like Confessions of a Professional Bad Guy or something like that. You know. I mean, so it's like I'm glad he knows what his career is. Also, the thing I loved in his trivia, he's so much a professional bad guy that he does a lot of the LAPD training things where he'll pretend to be bad guys for the LAPD to practice tactical drills and stuff like that.
Oh God.
There you go. There's an acting avenue to get enlistment. You can pretend to be a villain in I'm a criminal. But yeah, like he's one of the bad guys in Minority Report. Like, if you look at his IMDb photo, it's just like, oh, here's Tom Cruise choking him out. You know, here's they're Dying for a Living is the name of his.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. Here he is on Star Trek in alien makeup. You know, like I will say, yikes, there is him in Native American wig, costume, and makeup.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but it is just, it's still, when you see it, you're like, ooh, boy, yikes. And it is like costume store Native American outfit, too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you see that the brother?
Yeah, okay. The Patrick O'Flaherty.
Played by Scott Shepard.
Yeah.
What a list of credits.
Now, he has a very different IMDb than the other one. This is one of 3 appearances he ever made in anything. And it goes from 96 to 08 with no work.
Yep.
Before he plays Angry Mailbox Man in something called June 9th.
Yeah.
That is a horror movie that has no one you've ever heard of in it.
Mm-hmm. And this guy was supposed to be intimidating.
Oh my god. Movie? Oh my god. Yeah, I guess
this guy has maybe the worst facial hair I've ever seen on an actor. I use the term actor liberally.
Yeah, that's
here,
being very generous. Yeah.
Yeah. This guy, his beard is so bad.
Yeah.
It's like that patchy, and this is coming from somebody who has a bad beard. But
yeah.
It's like blonde and patchy, and it's just unkempt. Yeah. But it was so bad that later on in the movie, I thought he had shaved. But in actuality, it was just too dark to see his facial hair.
Yes,
that's how bad his beard is.
It was. He was weird. And I don't know. Did you watch this on YouTube?
Yes.
So I mean, it was like, I mean, this was like VHS quality because I don't think anybody's bothered to digitally remaster. No. This is as good a quality as you're getting, and it's not. I mean, it was totally watchable, but it was like, but still, the fact
it's better than Shadow Forces or whatever.
Nothing's as bad as that. That was unwatchable. Yeah. But I will say, the VHS quality mixed with the fact almost the whole movie is shot in the dark. This is a really ugly looking movie.
It's hard to watch.
It is tough. It's because it's most of the movie because of the riot setting is at night, lit by like fires. Oh, the amount of barrel fires in this movie. I do also think, listen, is this a record for most people on fire in an action shelf movie? There's a lot of
it's
people.
Up there.
A lot of people get lit on fire in this movie, which I do. I do enjoy. The guy riding a motorcycle on fire, I think, was my favorite.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
The idea that he would just keep going. He's like, I may be burning alive, but I've got to run this guy down.
I have one job.
Do you love that when we meet Gary Daniels, he just immediately ditches his shirt and starts pumping iron?
I did. I also love that he was working out in like stiff blue jeans. That was an interesting choice.
That is such a 1996 thing, I feel like. Because we talk about like a lot of these movies are like that where everybody's in jeans all the time. It's
Yeah,
action
yeah.
heroes in jeans is a very 90s thing to me. Specifically,
It is,
guys
yeah.
doing like martial arts in jeans. Like I think we talked about Jeff Wincott in martial law and stuff like that. It's a lot of guys in jeans.
Jump kicks and jeans.
yeah.
I think that should be a genre.
And you're just going like, that is not at all what you should be wearing.
Nope.
But yeah, it's just shirtless, and they have just doused him in sweat, and it's just this montage like, and he's doing a lot of like acting.
Yeah, and it's very uncomfortably long, like everything in this movie.
Yeah. Well, the thing I thought, okay, I get it. He's pumping iron. He's doing bench presses. Then I'm like, okay, now he's over at the weight machine. Okay, now he's got some bar. I'm like, he moves from weight machine to weight machine. The fact that we see him use like 5 different kinds of weights.
And this is all in his apartment, so we're led to believe that he has no space for anything else other than weight machines.
And
apparently,
boy, this movie, somebody read Blake Snyder Save the Cat, because him saving these kids from, by the way, the dumbest kid maybe in movie history. Like,
yes.
I wasn't a particularly smart kid, but I wouldn't have put just a full a pizza in a cardboard box in the oven and set it to God knows what, too.
I wish I could say the same thing. I think I might have been this dumb as a child.
And by the way, shame on me for assuming these kids would be characters in this movie.
Oh God, no, they're going to be abandoned very soon.
Well, you want to talk about?
And also, their mother never shows up.
No.
I thought that was going to be an important story beat.
Also,
like,
why not just make it his kids or something?
I don't
it was
know.
just like they're the kids who live next door to him. They're home alone on Christmas Eve. Great.
And they're like, our mom never showed up. She was supposed to show up 2 hours ago. I'm like, oh wow, that's really tragic.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if this movie completely abandoned this plot line and never resolved it.
And his
at any
response
point.
is, he goes, traffic's pretty bad tonight, so she's probably just getting delayed.
She's probably fine.
Yeah. Even though he knows there's like the most violent riot in world history is happening outside. But he's living in the nice part of town. That's not touching this area. This is that's the other thing I thought too, is like, where is she that she needs to be out on Christmas Eve? This is like a really nice apartment that he's in.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's not like, oh, she's pulling double duty at the diner tonight or something like that. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. She's a non-existent character, literally.
The fact that there's no room for any sort of socioeconomic critique here.
No.
So
which is interesting for a movie based around a riot.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of comes with the territory.
You think?
Yeah.
You think?
But yeah, I do love the little girl is like, Mom told us not to cook anything. He's like, nuts to that, I'm having pizza. And he just grabs a full like Red Baron pizza out of the freezer, chucks it in the oven, just flips some switches and is like, well, whatever.
And all.
Yeah,
Box
just
and all.
And immediately smoke is pouring like out into the hallway. Because Gary Daniels is in the apartment next door going, what's that then?
Hey, something smells like it's burning.
Yeah, poor Gary Daniels, unfortunately. He may have been a forebearer, but like guys like Adkins, Statham have really cornered the market on the British action hero. Because this guy is just not. Yeah. I mean, he's just.
Scott Adkins and Statham are better actors. So
they can do martial arts and they can act. What?
Yeah.
Who'd have thought? I was talking about this last night. I was telling people about this movie, and there is something that's so interesting to me about both Gary Daniels and Sugar Ray Leonard. Just the idea that they go, hey, these guys can fight. I bet they can act. Like, that's always a thing on this show that gets me is, we'll get the world kickboxing champion. Yeah, he could probably carry a movie. And you're like, I don't know why you would make that jump. I mean,
well,
if we talk about,
because they don't care about the acting. Maybe.
No, it really is like the divorced dads watching this want to see them kick real good.
This is a pretty solid problematic divorce dad movie.
Oh yeah.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it's a movie about a riot that has no political viewpoint is pretty great. Other than, I don't even know that this movie's IRA bad, because it's just these guys are bad. I don't think this movie actually even has anything to say about the IRA, because it is like a personal vendetta. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual reasoning behind the IRA.
And there's also a line between Patrick Kilpatrick, and the main gang leader, talking about like how the African American has been oppressed in the same way that the Irish have been oppressed by.
That is
English.
as close to a political dialogue as this movie has.
Say that if you're not willing to explore those themes,
because that actually, I could totally see like a crime movie that deals with that and is that's like, ooh, a halfway interesting thing that he will then shoot that guy like 30 seconds later is like, oh, so we're not okay, got it. This has, you don't give a shit at all about that.
You know what's interesting, John? You brought up the search for who the villain of this time. Yeah. That's such an interesting idea, because instead of like filmmakers thinking about like what's an interesting topic I can really dig into, it's instead what is the common parlance like shorthand of what a villain is. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to tell a story here. We just need some bad guys that people will instantly recognize as bad guys.
Yeah. I mean, you see that. Yeah. They talk a lot about the and I love that. I mean, it's more on a broad scale that's problematic than individually in movies, because but they're like on that podcast they talk a lot about like the Jack Ryan movies, right? And so you do get Patriot Games where he's fighting the IRA, and then Claire and Present Danger where it's like, oh, it's Colombian drug cartels, and you're just going like, what can we throw our action heroes at? And then, I mean, this is I realize the dark statement I'm making, but there is a thing where it was sort of like post 9/11. It was almost like, oh, thank God, okay, Middle Eastern terrorists, great, now we've got it.
Oh, you bet you. I 100% believe that an executive somewhere was like, oh, thank God we can have like a consistent villain again.
And now we've circled all back around that every action movie I watch today is Russians again.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, the Russians have really made a case for themselves they brought that on themselves, though. I do want to say,
sure did.
That's not Hollywood. That happened in reality. When you actually are the bad guys in reality, it's it's like, boom, got it. James Bond can fight Russians again.
Hooray.
Great. So let's. I just sort of like the new Top Gun is like, it's a country that we don't say who we're fighting. It's like, I don't know. That looks an awful lot like Russia, guys.
Sure does.
Yeah. But oh my God. Okay. So Gary Daniels is an SAS. Now that's British Special Forces, the Special Air Services is the, and he's in the U.S. to train American soldiers, is what they say. Not that matters at all.
No, that's never shown at any point.
No,
and you might miss it if you miss the one line where they say that.
He says that, yeah, because of course we get dumb. Because we also get Jesus Christ, of course. And I mean, it's not cultural appropriation to eat with chopsticks, but the fact that Gary Daniels is doing martial arts and he's making Asian noodles and showing the kids how to make chopsticks or how to use chopsticks is like, Jesus Christ. Because after the kid almost sets fire to the whole fucking building, Gary Daniels is like, hey, come over to my place and have some yakisoba.
He's like, I mean, it's classic action shelf, really.
It's classic action shelf where we want to talk about martial arts and Asian culture, but only through white guys doing it.
Yeah.
That is, God. Because I don't know. I mean, we're in prime Jackie Chan territory at this point if you actually cared about martial arts movies.
True.
96 is a good time for that. Did I mention that the Patrick Kilpatrick was killed by Chow Yun-fat in The Replacement Killers? So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got him, too. So I just love the idea of I've been killed by the best. But so he's doing that. Of course, the kid's like, you ever kill anybody? Of course. No.
Yes.
Yeah. So many.
I kill like you breathe.
Yeah. Well, he will drop 40 to 50 bodies in this movie. Easily.
Yes, exactly.
He kills a lot of people.
Completely unaffected by that.
Totally. This man is a trained weapon of a human being.
I love when protagonists of movies are just stone cold sociopathic killers.
It's like, I get that he's special forces, but that doesn't mean he would have no feeling about
Yeah.
anything, or even just being in the situation. He's just like, whatever, streets full of criminals all trying to kill me. Yeah, another day at the office. I mean,
And
he has no character. There is what do we know about, what is this guy's name? Shane something?
it sounds right. Shane, maybe.
Major Shane Alcott. What do we know about Shane Alcott other than
he's the best of the best?
Oh, he's the best. Yeah. By the way, if you're playing the action shelf bingo, cross off. He's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the best we got.
He's the best. Yeah.
He's such a good British soldier. He has to come over and train American soldiers because he's so good at soldiering. And then, of course, I did just think, how many things must it be? Like, the British ambassador's daughter is kidnapped. Well, the British ambassador's daughter just happens to be his ex-fiance. Like, oh my God. And the person doing it also happens to be his mortal nemesis. We are all for personal stakes and often complain when movies don't have them. I don't know that we need everything to be personal stakes, though. Like,
right, something needs to tie the main character to the narrative, but not everything.
Yeah, it's like I feel like either make the IRA guy a nemesis of his, or the girl is his ex-love. You don't do both. You can't do both. Yeah. That's too much.
That is too much.
You had to love this flashback scene when it goes to him in uniform. Oh, and of course the British another action shelf thing. She's also a famous fashion model, the British ambassador.
Yes,
of course,
yes. Yeah, the flashback scene of the guy critiquing her like this very 90s stereotypical.
Yeah,
they're not. He is gay, but they're not saying that he's gay, kind of a thing.
Yeah, the fashion photographer guy who's very this fashion photographer is in every 90s movie.
This movie gives like small characters like weird little moments of like this guy got way too much time to be talking to her, like it was maybe like a minute of him like saying like doing bits or whatever.
And this movie's not that long, and it's still, we're talking about how much this movie drags. It's 94 minutes long.
This movie feels like it's 3 hours long.
It does feel long. There's just everything. There's probably about 50 minutes of movie in this 94-minute runtime, really.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, and then you got him in his uniform, and it's the past, and he's like, oh God, I mean, this is such an action shelf scene, and Gary Daniels has no emotional acting ability at all, so he's just like,
nope.
I love you, sweetie, but sorry, I just got a new assignment, gotta go on a top secret mission.
I'd marry you if I could.
It's so dumb, but it's like, it's so like, well, I'm off to war.
And this part, his fiance.
I couldn't tell you this woman's acting ability because she has like 4 lines in the whole movie, I think.
She has 4 lines, and my guess is that her direction was act more like a child. I want you to act infantile at every moment possible.
Oh, okay. This makes sense, Listman. And we see a lot of crossover. She's a soap opera person, which,
okay.
Neither here nor there. Once again, I have no sense. Paige Rowland's her name. She's been on lots of. I mean, she was in like an episode of Castle. I mean, she's a working actress.
But you cannot critique her acting on this movie because there's nothing.
I have no sense, and the whole third act, she's unconscious.
Yes.
At a certain point, she's just out of the movie.
Yeah.
She's basically a prop in this film.
She is a prop. Yeah, I mean, exactly. That is exactly right. It's just
the bad guys have her, and Gary Daniels needs to get her, and then
it's like
Gary Daniels
has the flag, but
he gets. They have her. He gets her back. Then he's got to keep him away from her. Then she's hurt. He's got to get her somewhere. And then literally the end of the movie, he's just carrying her out of the city.
Yes.
He's like, hey, Merry Christmas. Hey,
I love the Resident Evil 4 logic that's in here, where he's just like, hide, and she like hides in a closet, and then he fights a bunch of people.
It's total Resident Evil 4, exactly. She goes and hides in a dumpster or whatever, and he's like
she has the same character motivations as Ashley Graham from Resident Evil 4.
Who is, I love that game, but who is one of the worst characters in the history of video games.
One of the worst characters, yes.
Just an
definitely.
awful character.
So obnoxious.
Yeah, it's a testament to how great that game is that does not affect my enjoyment of it. Let's talk about this out of nowhere scene where he's getting beers with his good pal Sugar Ray Leonard, or what's his name, Williams?
Who cares?
Major Williams, apparently. No first name.
Sure. Nope.
Who cares?
No, Major's actually his first name. He's not part of the military.
But once again, it's Chris. It's Chris. Keep in mind everything we're describing. It's Christmas Eve.
It is Christmas Eve,
and
they have nothing better to do.
They have nothing to do because they're soldiers with no lives. By the way, I did not understand why him going on that mission meant the end of his relationship with that woman.
Well, they. Basically, okay, here's what happened. He went on this mission.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I guess he'll never come back. I'm just gonna break it off. Like, she has because he literally says, wait for me or whatever. And then she doesn't. So she's like, nah. Yeah, and then she's like, I'm so sorry, and then it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's no it's so juvenile. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it is just like, oh, we don't even want to begin to bother with human emotions.
No, there cannot be an actual conversation about him. Like, there can be an argument made. It's like, I would be in a relationship with you, but you're not here most of the time.
Yeah.
So like, how can I be in a relationship?
That is a realistic thing to deal with, that the movie could also do very simply, where it's like it's not even like you're always going on missions and you're never around. It's just like, oh, I have to go on this one mission. She's like, well, that's just fucking, then forget it.
Because this movie does the thing where the protagonist can never be in the wrong. You know,
no,
so
it's
like,
never
the
his
problem
fault.
with their relationship is only on her end for being impatient child.
This movie, and this is not new by any means. This movie's thoughts on women are, I'm pretty sure, the nonstop, get out of here, bitch, move, bitch, come on, bitch.
Just constantly.
It's just a bombardment of, I get it, you hate women. Can we move on? Can we all just I grant them, you hate women. Got it. Jesus Christ.
Just have a title card at the beginning of the movie that says, I hate women, and just cut out all that shit, because it communicates the same information.
The best developed female character in the movie is the little girl in that family that he meets later.
Yes.
She has some, and I'm not saying it, but it's like, she technically has some characteristics.
That's true.
But yeah, it is. God. But so they're hanging out in this bar, and for reasons, this is them in the bar, whatever, on Christmas Eve. Okay, sure, fine. The idea that there is, for some reason, a super racist softball team in this bar. Out of no, and
I love the exposition of like, we've been doing softball for the last 5 years.
Yeah, and tonight they tell us some fucking riot is going on, and it's not safe for us to play. And that, and they're
I
just
didn't ask.
They are just steamed about. Oh, because Sugar Ray Leonard turns around and accidentally spills a beer on this guy.
Yes.
Which then proceeds for this guy to just launch into an entire, and he goes, because there's a riot out there caused by you people.
Yeah, and you best believe he drops some very, very racist phrases.
He's using all the words.
All of the words, yeah.
All of the words for all the people. And it's just like, good God. I'm like, it's Christmas Eve. Oh, obviously. I mean, these guys are the problematic divorced dads, obviously. When you're looking to play softball on Christmas Eve with all your buddies, you've got no home life of any sort. My kids aren't talking to me, so guess what? I'm going to take it out on this black guy.
Our team name is the Restraining Orders because all of us got restraining orders.
Yeah. we all met in an anger management class. Oh my God, it's so funny though. And it is just like it. I'm just going like, oh, you could have them fight some guys in a bar, but did they have to be comically just horrible? It's the same thing.
Otherwise, then the main characters are just assaulting a bunch.
I guess that's the thing. It's like it's one thing to make him like, "Whoa, buddy, where you going?" But to actually have him dropping horrible racial slurs. It's the same thing with that with the Norris movie, with the Hitman, where it's like, I'm sorry, why did the bullies have to be dropping the N-word? You're just like, it's so unnecessary, and we think we've talked about it. It's a level of racism that is. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but holy shit, just people being so naked, no microaggressions, just straight up being like, that's right, buddy.
Well, because that, not to get too political, but like those kinds of representations are what people can point to and say, see, I'm not like that.
Yeah, that makes
so
it easy.
Therefore, I'm not racist.
It makes it easy. Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, almost no one is like that.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. And the other reason they're a softball team is so we can use the bats in this fight, right?
Of course.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Because I also love, too, that they would come, they're pissed that they can't play softball, so they come into a bar in their uniforms with their gear.
So stupid.
In their uniforms, too. So they're part of some kind of softball league? These aren't just guys playing softball?
Theoretically, yeah. I mean, somebody just had a bunch of costumes.
Yeah, it's very funny. But Gary Daniels, because Sugar Ray Leonard wants to beat the shit out of him, but Gary Daniels is like, I cool it, pal. Which I am like, once again, not great when somebody drops the N-word and then a white guy is telling a black guy to calm down about it. I didn't say anything too bad. Just calm down. Come on, let's not get worked up. And then in classic 90s fashion, they're willing to let the racism go. But when they accuse them of being gay, now it's time to fuck these guys up.
It's like the Community quote. I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at homophobia.
Yeah. And so, but in the truly psychotic thing, they don't just go and beat them. They turn over a pool table to block the exit so that these guys can't run away.
Yeah, when they did that, I'm like, they're going to murder these people. Like, these are supposed to be the protagonists.
And it's our first one-liner from Gary Daniels who goes, "Let's close this place." And then they proceed to.
This is the bar that they frequent.
Oh, we see no one working the bar. Like, there's no bartender, there's no wait staff. I don't know what but they proceed to beat the ever-living shit out of these guys.
Yes.
There's a scene where Sugar Ray Leonard
keeping track. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just kidding. There's a scene where Sugar Ray Leonard punches a guy conservatively 75 times. When he is just pummeling that guy's body, I was like, that man is dead. All of his organs have lit. Because you think about how fucking hard Sugar Ray Leonard would hit somebody. And he is just repeatedly, he's like working a speed bag on this guy's gut. His organs are liquid.
And that's the issue with this fight scene. Well, there's a lot of issues. The reason why it's so long is because there's no like keeping track of, there's no like forward momentum in it.
It's like a video game. It's ever ending waves of these softball players.
Like they either keep spawning out of frame and coming in and attacking, or they keep getting up after being hit in the face with a baseball bat, which is not realistic.
Well, that's the other thing. He's got the aluminum bat too. That's you could kill somebody with one strike on that thing conceivably. And Gary Daniels is just whipping that thing around.
Did you get the impression that they padded out the length of this fight scene just so they could fit the entire song that they put in here?
That easily could be the case. They laid that down first and then used the rest of this. And then it finally ends where they throw these guys out a plate glass window.
Yes.
Where there's a waiting army jeep that just goes, come on, fellas, let's go. It's just like, all right, well, we've already just murdered a bunch of guys in this bar. Guess it's time to go to work.
And then also vandalized the glass leading into they're literally doing the thing that people were accusing the gangs of doing in the different part of the city. You know,
the guy behind the wheel of the Jeep is just like, you knuckleheads.
What a couple of rapscallions.
It's insane. So then, they get their assignment. This is the very Escape from New York thing, I thought, when they bring up the map and they go, well, were they requested to make the exchange? Because this gang has them and they want, what is it? Did I write down? It's like $2.5 million. Yeah, something like that, $2 million.
Yeah.
And he goes, but where they're asking you to do the exchange is right here in the middle of no man's land. You're like, no man's land? Number one, how long has this riot been going on for that, like, parts of the city have been claimed in it?
Apparently, I think it's supposed to have just been one night, right?
But that's insane.
According to this,
one night, and the city is already a full-on war zone where there's a no man's land, and it's just like, we've just given up.
Yeah.
Because usually riots end when the military arrives. That's usually kind of the, like, when you call in the National Guard, that's usually like, you declare martial law, and that's how they pretty much all end. Here, it seems like it's gotten worse since the army has showed up.
Maybe it's like the what was the zone in Seattle that was set up for a while?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what that was called, but maybe that's kind of what they're going for.
Maybe a little bit. But it just,
I don't know.
It's so, once again, it's so sci-fi, Escape from New York, like,
yes,
well, city's a war zone.
It should have just been like science fiction or something,
just go
so
full
that there's
at
not
it.
Context of like.
Go full at it, because the idea, and the
the
idea that we already have a full map of the scenario. We know exactly what it is. This part's controlled by the Joker gang, you know. I mean, because it is sort of no man's land. There's the famous Batman story where Gotham has the earthquake and it gets broken up into the different gangs and stuff. And so Sugar Ray Leonard's a helicopter pilot. He's going to fly Gary Daniels in. And he makes a big deal about you got to take a gun, even though they said no weapon. Now, didn't you think that gun was going to be important? I
forgot that he had a gun.
It's not. He just shoots somebody with it later. And by the way, he shoots like 40 shots from a revolver, of course, you know.
From a revolver. And then he has like a little TMP that he's firing. And that gun has at least... I want to say upwards of 400 bullets in it.
It does.
At least. When he's firing it at the forklift or whatever.
Oh God, it's just nonstop.
Just nonstop.
And I don't think there's a single scene of him reloading ever in this movie.
No, there's never a shot. Like there's never even a cool like putting a new clip in or whatever. Or,
which is interesting because there's so much diving with guns in slow motion. So clearly this director is, ripping off John Woo, but there's none of that. Course. Chow Yun-fat reloading his guns is often like a big thing in John Woo movies.
It's cool. Like reloading is cinematic.
And especially if you're doing slow motion, when you drop the magazine and
Like it increases tension if you're aware of the amount of bullets you have.
Yeah.
And you have that constraint. That makes the movie more exciting.
It does. It is a thing, yeah. And good action movies do stuff like that. That's a big thing the Mission Impossible movies have been good about, is not with bullets specifically, but one of the things they figured out is if the technology doesn't work, it's often the most exciting scenes.
Yes.
When spy gadgets don't work and stuff like that. People who make these action movies don't understand that often the times it's the thing about too, when the hero really gets beaten down, it's more exciting. When you're out of ammo, it's more exciting, that kind of stuff. No, it's just this Gary Daniels is just an unstoppable force in this movie. At no point.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any point. He is briefly losing a fight to that big guy until he just decides not to.
Yes. Yeah.
That stairway fight, by the way, is total video game. He fights like a wave of henchmen before the big boss comes in.
This movie did feel like a video game. It did feel like a 1990s action.
Especially when I said they're doing the map where it's like these are the sections of the city and stuff like that. It is very video gamey in that sense. And that's not inherently a bad thing. No. Escape from New York feels very video gamey, but that's in reverse, as we've often talked about, because Escape from New York has such massive influence that movie has influenced a lot of games.
lot
A lot of games, yeah. Escape from New York, because it is kind of built like a video game with the levels and parts of the city. And we've talked about Carpenter is a huge gamer.
He's a huge gamer, and I know that like Kojima was really inspired by Carpenter films, especially Escape from New York.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid is just Solid Snake is Snake Plissken, right? Like, I mean, or at least
he was named after that character.
Yeah, and he's got the eye patch. It's a total homage to you know. And Snake Plissken, one of the great action heroes in movie history. I don't think Shane Alcott is making that list anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not.
It's me, Shane Alcott. Yeah, he doing here gonna do some
where's the video game? Where's the Kojima game based on Riot?
Yeah,
1996's Riot. That's what I want to know.
You know, we almost did 2 Gary Daniels movies this month because we were gonna do The Gardener, and he's the bad guy in that.
Oh, man, what could have been, John?
And what could have been? We'll have to get back to The Gardener at some point, which is, of course, who could forget that's a Robert Bronzi film. So that's, oh, God, just imagine the charisma on screen when Bronzi and Daniels face off.
Oh, can you even... crackling. It's
forget Willis and Rickman. It's Daniels and Bronzi. Jesus Christ.
Tension is palpable.
Yeah, so he gets dropped into the city here, and the second he sets foot in this city, there's a guy going, "What you doing here, motherfucker?"
Yeah, it's just immediate. Yeah,
and I say that I understand that what I just did was a racist caricature, but that is how every black character in this movie talks. Legitimately, it is.
Every character except for Sugar Ray Leonard and then the family, who later stays.
Which I won't talk about.
Everyone else.
That's the other good actor in this movie, is that father.
Yes, that scene between Gary Daniels and the dad was actually legitimately very good.
That guy is also like a ringer. He is a real deal actor.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. We'll talk about him as that, but. Yeah, he's and so it's pretty much from here on out, just assume every scene is Gary Daniels walks down the street until someone attacks him. That is basically what the movie is. I think they kind of fire their shot a little early here with this roller hockey gang, because you don't get much sillier than this. And so once again, he is surrounded by guys on roller skates. In hockey, why is it always amateur athletes that are attacking him?
I don't know.
But this is just an excuse so he can get a hockey stick and start.
That's true.
It's always Gary Daniels is doing nothing but fighting recreational sports leagues.
Hey, we're the local bowling team.
And we get
a bone to pick with you.
Yeah, this kickball league's gonna fuck you up, man.
Our water polo team is fucking vicious.
Yeah, but you gotta get in the pool, Gary Daniels. Then we'll fuck you up. But you gotta come to us.
And you gotta wear the right attire, you know.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's not cool. You can't bring that in here. You gotta take a shower first, too, man. Come on.
Yeah, and also take a shower first. Yeah. Don't be filthy.
Respect the rules of the pool.
Yeah.
I love a pool-based gang. We just control this pool.
This territory is ours.
Specifically, this one pool.
Not even the whole water park.
No, in fact, most of that is taken over by the Latin Kings. But we...
When are we... Wait, I guess there was already a movie where terrorists take over a pool.
Who could forget Blast?
But what about? I think like an aquatic center would be
there. You Die Hard in a slide. Yes, Die Hard in an aquatic center. There's got to be one. They've done Die Hard everywhere.
Exactly.
We've done Die
Hard. Die Hard on the set of Die Hard. That's the next level.
That should be the last Die Hard movie. Is it all totally just comes about itself? So he beats these guys up. He does kill the last guy by frying him with Christmas lights.
I didn't understand how that worked.
Neither did I. There are several deaths in this movie that I did not follow. That I had. There's a couple times people got killed, and I had to back up and go, "How did this happen?" And I don't understand exactly how this happened either.
He chopped the Christmas lights with the hockey stick, which is hilarious.
Yep.
But there's then loose.
Yeah, there can't be enough current running through that even if you cut the wire, it would electrocute a man to death.
Yeah, I have Christmas lights hung up around my apartment,
Yeah.
and like I'm not worried about like being killed at any point. You
No,
know what I mean, like
even
I'm
if,
not in any
like I said,
danger here.
even if the wire got exposed or something, it would shock you. But I don't think this guy goes up, man.
Yes, yeah,
and they're
fully
just
fries.
These are just normal Christmas lights. But I mean, they land on him and he just and he's smoking and I mean he fries his ass. No, I did not understand that, but I did laugh at it quite a bit. And yeah, so then after he gets to that, he finally goes to the church where the main villains are holding the girl, and then once again it's like, "Who are you, motherfucker?"
And you better believe that there's zooming in shots of like the various windows and window panes. And,
well, lest we
glass.
we haven't mentioned the soundtrack, but there's a lot of like religious Christmas songs throughout the whole movie. I mean, the whole opening of the movie is the riot scene set to "Come All Ye Faithful."
That's true. And then the bar fight scene, there's some sort of Christmas themed hip hop song.
Yep.
It's
not, but it is not Run DMC's Christmas song.
No,
they can't afford that. They can't. Was that?
We can't emphasize this enough. This is not a good song.
But it's a sound alike. Like it is somebody trying to do the Run DMC one. No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm seeing Gary Daniels in a movie called Blood Moon. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I saw that one. That cover is amazing with him with the torn shirt.
Yeah. Okay, great. As
yeah.
long as we're
you get. So I just have to read the tagline. You get one shot before he kills you. You know what? He that feels like a Lucas Lee movie for those who are Scott Pilgrim fans. That does seem that's like the. What was it? I don't think it's in the movie, but they talked about the one where he's the doctor. They had an imaginary one that was a doctor. It's like the good news is you're going to live. The bad news, he's gonna kill you.
It's so good.
Man. Oh, those are total action show. We would be doing Lucas Lee movies if they were real.
Absolutely.
Because that clip that's in Scott Pilgrim is 100% an action shelf scene. So yeah, so he shows up and he's got the ransom money with him, and he does. Of course, we get another one. He goes, and it's like, "Who are you, motherfucker?" And he goes, "Just call me Santa," because Christmas.
And then the guy's response is, "Well, ho ho ho, motherfucker," I believe is his response. I'm like, that's about right.
Yep. And then we get a full-on villain monologue from our bad guy here about like, "Yo, my mom wanted me to be a preacher." And I wrote this down as a one-liner. He goes, "God will give you salvation, but he don't give no Mercedes." Once again, I enjoyed this guy's performance because it's stupid, but it's way more fun than when we get the IRA guys.
Yes. Yeah, because this guy, he's really hamming it up. He's really chewing scenery. He's going for it.
Which is what you do. This is the...
Yes.
I always go back to that guy in Detention who was just like, this movie is dumb as fuck, so there is no over the top as this bad guy.
Yeah. Exactly. And I will say this movie gets worse after that character dies.
Agreed. It is sort of like, because Patrick Kilpatrick, I think there's a reason he played henchman. He doesn't have the chops to be the main bad guy.
He doesn't have the accent to deliver any of his lines correctly.
So they realize that Gary Daniels has a relationship with the ambassador's daughter, which then just prompts him to murder the other girl. By the way, we didn't say the ambassador's daughter was kidnapped with one of her friends, who will just be unceremoniously shot in the head here, and it's over.
Yes. She is not. She is given a name. I don't remember what it is, though.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
She has. I don't think she has any lines, and then she is just killed. Because once again, this movie, it doesn't love women.
Yes. Yeah, it really wants to pretend like Gary Daniels is not a misogynistic piece of shit.
Yeah.
But the perspective of this movie is that of a misogynistic piece of shit.
They're upset because he's only brought half the ransom because he wants the girl, and then he'll tell them where the other half is. but
Right.
they don't like that. So instead, it turns into a big shootout. And I do love Gary Daniels using one of these guys as a human shield, and his own friends pump like 50 rounds into him. And he's just...
Yeah, the gang leader is later really upset about the people people in his gang who died, but a lot of them were shot by their own people. So I don't really know.
There is not even a moment where like, oh no, he's got Jamal or something, And instead it's just like,
because none of these people have names.
They all just fucking light his ass up. So I'm sorry. But then I laugh so hard when they're running out of the church, and out of the church, this inner city gang leader has a fucking rocket launcher.
It was very funny.
It
yes.
was.
Which,
I'm like,
maybe provided by the IRA. Who knows?
Could be, but I'm just going. Oh, we're in action shelf territory now. Much like we saw last week, it's an action shelf movie when literally any character has access to a rocket launcher. It's one of these things where I just go like, do these movies understand outside of a military context in the United States? Nobody has they are just not. You don't hear a lot about another rocket launcher attack today in the middle of downtown Los Angeles.
Probably not, because they also don't understand that rocket launchers are single fire. Like they don't have infinite ammo.
This is not the first movie we've done with automatic rocket launchers.
That's true.
What you never see them do with the rocket launcher is actually put the rocket in it.
Yeah, because you never see any weapon reloaded at any point.
No.
Including the rocket launcher. And it's firing very quickly as they're running away.
Yeah.
It's hitting car after car after car.
I will say, I will give the movie credit this. They do have a pretty good pyrotechnics budget, because there is a lot of explosions in this movie.
Yes. Yeah, them running away from these explosions was pretty good.
Yeah,
I will say.
That is one thing I will say they did. They made things go boom, and we'll talk about later when stuff that shouldn't be going boom is going boom. This movie does hit one of my favorite action shelf tropes, which is things exploding for no reason at all.
Yes, like why do cars explode when they run into each other? That's
the one that really got me is later with the forklift. When these are hollowed out shells of cars that are exploding when they hit each other. Why? There's literally nothing that could explode.
Like, why?
It's just metal on metal, and they're going up in flames.
Yes, yeah. That made me laugh out loud. It was very
that
funny.
was that whole the junkyard scene might be my favorite in the movie.
Yes.
Though once again it goes on too long, like always.
Yeah.
I did think so. After they escape and they take refuge in this abandoned shop, when they start talking about their relationship and like, "Well, I did love you," I'm going like, "No, movie, don't. You're not this movie. You can't."
Yeah, no.
Why did and him just go? And once again, you talk about it not being his fault. She goes, "Well, if you love me, why did you go?" He goes, "I was just waiting for you to ask me to stay, and you never did." And then she fucking apologizes for that.
Yes, which is crazy.
That is not how communication works.
It's all your fault that I left,
Yeah.
that I decided to leave.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me, it's all your fault.
I didn't want to leave, but because you didn't tell me not to, I did. It's like, you fucking
So it's
child.
all your fault. And she's like, you're right.
What a goddamn child, man. I cannot believe this guy. He's such a baby. God.
This is one of, this movie and... oh God! What was the first Christmas movie we watched? What was the
Christmas Rush?
Christmas Rush. Like those, they feel like they were written by children. You know what I mean? Like a 7-year-old's interpretation of what an action movie is.
Yeah.
What a relationship is. Like what villains are. Like it's all so cartoonish and comic booky, but not in a bad way.
Yeah, not in a way that's consciously being like that. Like the movie wants you to take this. If the movie was, a skosh campier or more heightened, I think if it was getting into that John Carpenter Escape from New York territory, which doesn't have any of this stuff, by the way, he knows what kind of movie he's making. He's not trying to do this bullshit in them.
No. But make it removed enough from reality that you can get away with having absurdist things.
Yeah.
That would be.
And those are the best. We always talk. Those are the best ones of these movies when they just go, "We know what we're making here," because you're not. Yeah. I'm never going to care about a relationship in an action shelf movie. So don't. No. And once again, you're making this for divorced dads. They don't give a shit.
No, they're like, show me the titties.
By the way, can't believe we didn't get some scene of her doing topless modeling or something.
I thought they were going to have a sex scene here.
That would that would have been something. Mid Riot while hiding, they had sex. That really, I would have loved that. That would have been complete nonsense.
Yeah, my standards were so low at this point that I'm like, that could happen and I wouldn't be surprised.
No, that would totally fit this movie. You'd be like, yep, that adds up. God, this is a dumb
There's
movie.
No sex scene and there's no rape scene or reference, which is nice.
Oh, by the way, can't believe there's not the threat of rape in this crime-ridden.
I know.
Not even like a "Hey, baby." We don't even get that. I can't believe it.
Or the what was the Michael Jai White movie?
The Commando.
The Commando, where it was the threat of rape was inserted later on with the sound effect of a zipper being unzipped.
That's right. I can't believe none of the gang guys were like, there's not even oh, she's a sweet treat or something like that,
there's nothing. I mean, it's weirdly restrained.
There is no acknowledgement about I'm not complaining, but it is bizarre that they have like a hot blonde model and she is never sexualized in this movie at all. Weird.
It's just weird.
It's just unusual. Strange. That's how broken these movies have made us, where I'm going like, nobody said anything disgusting towards her.
Is it because it's a Christmas movie? It's a Christian movie?
Folks, is this a Christian movie?
I don't know, man. After Christmas Rush,
it's certainly not as overtly like this is a very secular Christmas, even though there are like the classic sort of religious Christmas songs. Even those are pretty, like, even my family listens to those, and we're pretty fucking far away from Christian.
So, and even like the church scene where it's focusing on the stained glass and stuff.
It's all just meant to be Christmas imagery. I don't think this movie has no political voice. It has no religious voice. It has nothing to say about anything. It could care less. So we do get this whole subplot that is, in retrospect, a total waste of time, where Sugar Ray Leonard's like, I gotta go save him, and they're like, but we've grounded all helicopters. And this will be nothing because he will be killed immediately and not successfully save them. Because he's gonna fly into the city and try to rescue them, but they will be shot down by that automatic rocket launcher.
John, the sequence, the model helicopter they use for that.
So the model helicopter, but even before that, the other thing I loved is when they have a real helicopter in flight and they've animated fire on it. I enjoyed that too.
Yes,
they just drew fire on a helicopter flying that after it had been shot. But then it's a model helicopter, which is crazy.
It was
because this is what, almost 10 years after Die Hard.
Yeah.
And that's a model helicopter that falls off that building, and that still looks amazing.
Yes.
That's all model, and it still looks great when that helicopter explodes and rolls off the top of the building. And they tried to do the same thing here, and it looks like shit.
They really did go. They really tried here, and it just did not work.
Now, before he shoots down the helicopter, though, the gang leader does say, "Time to meet the devil, motherfucker." I don't really.
Must every line end with motherfucker?
Like the guy sitting around going, it's like, well, so before he shoots, I'll have him say, "Time to meet the devil," and then the other guy goes, "Motherfucker." Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That does feel more legitimate. That does feel more...
Yeah, that feels in character.
That feels more accurate. It feels more accurate to street talk. The guys writing this use the term street talk. I guarantee you.
and the term super predator.
Yeah,
at some point.
that was running around the 90s. There's no question.
Yeah.
This is prime super predator territory.
Yeah,
did we talk about the fact?
This is fuel.
This is
for
another
the
one of these
super
movies
predator
where I go.
narrative.
This is another one of these movies where it's like 2 fucking people wrote this movie. 2 people wrote this movie. I don't think we talked
Two
about that.
separate human beings. wrote this movie.
Oh! These are the guys who wrote that Anna Nicole Smith movie we were talking about. So that adds up.
Oh, good.
Their last film that they
Great.
wrote was a movie called Alien Secrets in 2006.
Oh, wow.
Alien Secrets. Yeah, these guys have written such things as Lion Strike. Oh, we might have to watch Time Barbarians. That's just too good a title. A medieval warrior
wow.
chases a bad guy to modern-day Los Angeles to avenge the death of his wife. Yep, that's
Good
an
Lord.
action shelf movie. And most of their movies, once again, are action shelf movies because you're also looking at Pure Danger, Time Lock, Rage, Lion Strike. Lion Strike.
That's
Which
something
one is
maybe.
that? Dawn the Dragon Wilson.
Oh, no.
Lion Strike. All right. Anyway. Also, all of these people worked on a show called L.A. Heat that is...
I was wondering what that was.
If we were to do television shows on the action shelf, L.A. Heat is an action shelf TV show.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's
yes.
It's created by the guy who directed this movie.
Good Lord.
And Sugar Ray Leonard was in it, apparently. Or at least some episodes.
Oh, no. And Wolf Larson.
Wolf Larson.
What a name.
What a name. He's an action shelf guy. I don't think we've done any of his. He did some Tarzan stuff, too. We haven't done... We need to do a Tarzan movie. Tarzan is one of those... Because it's been in public domain for so long, there's like a billion movies, a few of which are good and most of which are terrible. Oh, he's in Crash and Burns, which we have to do because I love that title. Crash and Burns.
Are
And
those the names of the two police
they're
officers?
the
who are main
detectives
characters?
Crash and Burns.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that one. We're gonna do a buddy cop month at some point. We have to.
Yeah.
So that'll be in there for sure.
God. Now, Wolf Larson, I'm seeing, he's in his most recent acting performance
Yeah.
was Roblox the movie 2.
Yep. The Attack of Julian. It's all. It's a acronym.
So that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
That's the level we're operating on here. We're getting a little bit on a tangent.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm always slightly more interested in the interconnected nature of this industry than the actual movies
I gotta say,
themselves.
Wolf Larson did a movie called Avalanche Alley that also seems like something we have to do. And it literally,
Yes.
the poster is guys snowboarding away from an avalanche. So
Oh my God.
that's total action shelf territory right there. This is what we keep talking about, though. When we talk about we will never run out of material for this show.
It's bottomless
ever. And it is kind of what you're talking about, the interconnected nature. We find something that will lead us to 100 other things.
Yes,
One
that we didn't even know existed.
No, it's crazy to me.
It's an endless labyrinth of madness.
never-
Only madness lies this way.
It never ends. Like, it's insane. It's crazy to me. And this is what the whole obviously the whole point of the show is, like, this other Hollywood that is the action shelf world.
Very strange.
So let's see. Let's get to that motorcycle. Oh, well, we got to talk about Sugar Ray Leonard's death, which is excruciatingly long because they fall out of the helicopter. The woman, the model who's been kidnapped, she grabs Gary Daniels. He grabs Sugar Ray Leonard, and it's the classic Sugar Ray Leonard's wearing a glove that he's slipping out of. And
so how is the girlfriend holding both of them?
Well, that's the thing. I also love him going, "You've got to pull us up," and I'm going, this 110-pound woman is going to lift 2 big muscular men.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe she was ripped under her sweater. I don't know.
She's a skinny little lady. I mean, even an incredibly fit woman or man for that matter.
Just an incredibly fit human being would struggle there.
Yeah. No, come on. And then, oh God, and I love the best though is the gang leader on the ground going, "Come on, man, come on, fall, yeah, come on." And then
running commentary.
I think when he does fall, he goes, "That's what I'm talking about." It's a pretty good fall, I will say. There's a stunt guy doing a fall. It's pretty good, although he falls face forward instead of down on his back like he would if you dropped him like that, which makes no sense.
Well, what are you gonna do?
But we then get a lot of Gary Daniels going, "No! Why no?"
Yeah, the only time he's not like half-heartedly muted in his performance is this scene where he's shouting.
But this is like halfway through the movie, and I thought, oh shit, they just killed Sugar Ray Leonard. The movie is, the VHS cover is Gary Daniels, Sugar Ray Leonard. And you're like, oh, well, if you were a fan of his, he's gone.
Yeah, he is fully dead. I'm just like, are you serious, movie? Are you really going to kill the black best friend in this fucking movie?
And then it will proceed to literally the next scene, we kill the black villain and replace him with the IRA.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because
I don't think this movie is a fan of black people either.
I'm not. I don't think, except for that one family, they're the good ones.
Right. Exactly. The exception that proves some of them, I assume, are good people.
That's exactly what I thought when they meet that family. I thought, oh no, this is the movie going, see, there are some good ones. Oh no, movie.
Like, oof.
No.
Oof.
No.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so they the IRA shows up, they kill, because this isn't, so the IRA has contracted this street gang to kidnap this woman in an attempt. But it's such a roundabout. They have kidnapped the ambassador's daughter, but it has nothing to do with the ambassador. It is just he knows that the ambassador will send Gary Daniels, and this was all an attempt because they've got some kind of history that is vaguely stated.
Yeah, but not fully.
They've
explored.
Battled before, this guy, Patrick Kilpatrick, and Brian O'Flaherty, the O'Flaherty brothers.
The O'Flaherty brothers.
But so he goes, all right, we're taking over. Let's send out the motorcycle guys. And twice in this movie, they attempt to kill Gary Daniels with motorcycles. Not on motorcycles, with motorcycles.
Yeah, because there's the sequence of him running on top of cars.
That's the junkyard scene, yeah.
Which I wrote, stumbling on top of cars is cool. Because he's not like running like gracefully leaping from one. He's like falling constantly.
Which you could make exciting if you bothered to choreograph and shoot it well.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that's the problem, is that the editing was so bad that it's just like, this just keeps going.
And this is where he has her hide in the trunk of one of these cars. There is a death in here I did not understand. So there's a guy. There's a guy there, and Gary Daniels slides something out, shoots it, and explodes. I went back and looked. I think it's the gas, the pulled off gas tank of a car.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, the guy. There's a guy walking around with a machine gun, and all of a sudden, something slides in front of him. Like Gary Daniels pushes something out from under a car in front of this guy. Then he shoots it, and the guy explodes. And I went back and looked, and I think what they are implying is, and I had to back it up and really take a look at this. I think what it is it is the gas tank from underneath a car. But the idea that would have gas in it, let alone a lot of gas, and two, as we know in reality, you can't shoot the gas tank of a car and have it explode. It just doesn't work like that.
No. I wonder why. I'm wondering if that might be a safety hazard if cars just exploded.
Yeah, you can puncture it with the bullet, but you still need fire or something. The other thing is, gas burns. It doesn't explode quite like this. Is another thing too.
No.
But this guy goes up, man.
Yeah, it's not a concussive blast. That's not what will be happening.
He also does. This does have another. It's interesting. I said this movie. on a lot of levels does a lot of the stuff we love, because Gary Daniels does get a shotgun at one point here and shoot a guy, and the guy flies back like 50 feet.
Yeah, I will say the action sequences are at least varied.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not just guy stands on left side of screen, guy stands on right side of screen, shoots at each other until one dies, then rinse, repeat. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they use various things about this junkyard as part of the action sequences.
They're on the right
like,
track. It's still poorly done, but they do have the right
Yes.
thinking that we want these movies to have.
Yes.
Which we do talk about. We like movies that use environments and their action scenes and stuff like that, but it's just poorly done. It's not what's happening, it's how they're doing it that's bad.
Yes.
That's kind of the problem here. And this is also where you get the guy on fire still riding his motorcycle.
Yes.
Which
we love.
Until eventually he's on fire, still riding at Gary Daniels, and then Gary Daniels drives out of the way, and the guy on fire hits a car with his motorcycle, and both him and the car and the motorcycle, they all explode.
Which is great.
Yeah, that is great. I think that is the explosion of the movie, and maybe the death of the movie. It's definitely the best explosion in the movie.
And is this where he tells his girlfriend to run, or excuse me, fiance to run away? Is that?
Yeah, that's
that
in here.
what this is?
He has her hide. Yes, and she's hiding
okay.
because there's a scene where she tries to hit a guy with a part of an engine,
Yeah.
and then Gary Daniels just comes and breaks that guy's neck.
Well, because there's a. I don't think he tells her to hide. I think he says you need to run.
Yeah, where though, and to what end?
Great point, because all that happens is that she is no longer near him and therefore cannot defend herself.
Well, this is also where she gets injured, because now he's got to carry her to try to find. What happens to her?
Yes. She gets pushed into a banged up car that has pointy bits.
That's what it is, because he's like, she's gonna die if I don't get her medical help.
And the only reason this happens is because that's the thing. He didn't tell her to hide. He told her to run so that she. So I'm just thinking, like, is he using her as bait? Because that is kind of what happens here.
Yeah.
Like, two separate people attack her, and then he has to come in and save her.
And it surprisingly goes poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, so weird.
He's an idiot.
He's
a terrible action hero. This guy's a terrible action hero.
Yes.
So yeah, he's got to. He's running door to door, going, "Somebody, please help us." That's what you want. And yeah, this is where he meets the kindly black family, whose name I don't remember, but I'm going to call them the Blacks, because that's what the movie thinks.
The father was like, "Get gone."
Yeah, because he's got a
shotgun.
He's got a shotgun, which we'll later find out isn't loaded.
Yeah, and then the wife's like, "How could you turn them away?"
So they're the bakers, and this guy we do like, Tom Barry, and I was trying to go, where do I know this guy from? He looks really familiar. He's Paul Walker's boss, like commanding agent in the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh, okay.
But you know what the other thing I knew him from, because I'm going, why do I think, why is it in my head that this guy's talking about basketball? I kept thinking I'm going like, somewhere this guy was saying, I saw him in his voice and I heard, that's a nice jump shot. And I'm going, why is that? Because he fucking plays Michael Jordan's father in Space Jam.
Yes.
And that was the thing. He started talking and all I could hear was, that's a nice looking jump shot. And I'm going, what is that? What is that from? Why am I hearing that when I hear his voice?
I believe
right at the beginning of the movie, right? When he's talking about, that's a nice looking jump shot, son.
Mm-hmm.
That's who this guy is. Yeah. This guy's a good actor. And he's got a million other credits. He's a guy.
He's so good in this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those
He's the other good actor.
So effortless.
Yeah.
That like it doesn't matter that the script is dumb.
No, this is a good actor this is a guy who he's in Air Force One, which we're big fans of. He's a soldier in that. He's just in a million things. He's in Independence Day. He was on Fresh Prince. He was on Seinfeld. He's in Apollo 13. I mean, this guy's a real character actor who's in a million things and is still acting.
He made Gary Daniels look half decent because Gary Daniels was in a scene with him.
Yeah, and the dialogue he's saying is horrible.
Yes.
But
Yes.
he's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Like, honest, I was a little shocked that that there was a actually engaging.
Like I said, it was one of those things where I didn't
in front of me.
immediately recognize him, but when he did show up, I go, "Oh, I've seen this guy." And and like I said, he's in a few of the Fast
I figured
and
I
Furious
must have seen him because he's so good. That it's
Yeah.
like he must be in a lot of stuff because he's very good.
Because they get this whole scene after he patches up the woman, and he's talking about, "Oh, I got laid off from my job as a what was he doing? Street repair or something like that."
Something like that.
Yeah, and he's just talking about, "Oh, and then this riot broke out." He goes, "It's a tough thing to tell my daughter Santa's not going to be here this year."
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's going to set up the ending, which is very dumb.
So stupid.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a halfway decent scene purely because of this guy.
Yeah.
MVP of the movie, man, really.
100%. Either him or the news anchor.
Yeah, him, the news anchor, and Charles Napier are the only like real
Yes.
actors in this thing.
Yes.
Tom Barry is this guy, though. Once again, MVP
Barry,
of the movie.
okay.
And then who plays the little girl, Kyla Pratt, she went on to do some stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she's neither good nor bad. She's just a kid with some dumb kid lines here. What did she do?
I mean, compared to the children at the beginning of the movie, she's better. So
yeah, she did. She does a lot of voice work.
Oh, cool.
She's the main. Do you remember that show, The Proud Family?
No.
It was a Saturday morning cartoon. She's the main voice in that, and still is doing that. Actually, I think they brought that back. But she did a lot. Oh yeah, she was on Veronica Mars.
Cool.
Yeah, she does a lot of stuff. She's a working actress, and like I said, I mean, she's
Great.
a little kid here. So, but yeah. I mean, I actually didn't find anyone in this family to be that bad. The wife has only a couple lines, but it is like, and then it's just like, all right, well, you leave her here now that she's unconscious. I'm gonna go do the rest of the fighting in the movie. He's getting more Australian in my impression. I'm realizing
He is.
Hey, God, oh yeah, it's right. Okay. Another scene that made me laugh is when he's walking in front of this building and guys on motorcycles just drive out through the windows of it. I fucking lost it. He's just walking by like a office building, and then a bunch of motorcycles. And this is where they're just driving. They're just popping wheelies and driving their front wheels at him. And I'm going, don't you have guns? What a stupid way to try to kill this guy.
Yeah. Well, everybody's stupid in this movie, so.
And of course you got to have him jam a pipe in the spokes of somebody's wheel, so that guy goes flying into like a bus waiting area, like the glassed-in, bus bench, so that he can.
Bus stop, yeah.
Oh, this movie also has a lot of broken glass. I don't know if it reaches Christmas Rush levels of broken glass, but
No, I don't think anything could.
that movie. What does it get on? Oh, when the guy's riding at him and he grabs onto like a streamer of little flags so he can swing out and swing back at the guy.
Yeah, that was stupid. Why did all the motorcycles have blue lights on them? Like they were like for gamers or whatever. They had gamer lights on them.
I have no idea. It's just what they had. I'm sure it was just at the mercy of whatever motorcycles they could get.
Yeah.
And then
they probably thought it was cool. I don't know.
He does pick up a big piece of lumber so that it hits two different motorcyclists on either side of him.
But that would imply that the motorcyclists were not driving at him.
They were driving to the side of him.
Just to the which is so stupid.
And then of course he does kick a burning barrel onto one and it explodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now he's shooting it out with the IRA guy's brother. Who says, he goes, "What do you even believe in?" And the guy responds, "Believe in the idea I'll be cooking you in 2 seconds flat."
John, you forgot part of the quote.
What is that?
After that, he goes, "Hoit, hoit, 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 hoit."
Oh, do, do. Oh, do, do.
I believe he mentioned pot of gold at one point.
And you won't be getting me pot of gold either. Hoi, do, do. Yeah. This is very stupid too. To distract him, Gary Daniels throws his pistol on the ground, and this guy turns and shoots the pistol.
Yes.
You thought that was a human being?
Crawls very slowly and awkwardly under the car.
Yeah.
And somehow gets and like kicks. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like it doesn't make
But
any
you
sense
better
at all.
believe this guy is going to get lit on fire so that Gary
thank
Daniels
God.
can fight a guy who's burning.
Yeah, because that's part of the checklist. It's on there somewhere.
It's just like, I don't know, can we light another guy on fire? It's nowhere near as cool as one of our favorite guys lit on fire, which is Lance Henriksen in Hard Target. Oh, that is good. That is good guy on fire.
Oh, yeah.
We love it. That's the thing. I'm saying this movie's doing all the stuff we love. We love a guy getting lit on fire, but it's just
We also love the movie Man on Fire, starring Denzel Washington.
Dude, that movie fucking rules. I just rewatched that pretty recently. That is as good an action movie as you get, man.
It's a great movie.
That is great. So let's see here. He does that, and of course, this is where he's gonna he ends up just shooting this guy. After all this, he just shoots him. Pretty boring. Pretty boring. But of course, this is the main IRA guy's brother.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "No, me baby brother."
Oh, Patrick. Oh no.
Oh no. And so then we got to have a little Die Hard moment where they get on the walkie-talkie with each other. But it's all just like, "I'm gonna kill you." "No, you're not." "Yes, I am." Because who cares? These aren't characters.
No.
But then they get in a this leads to the parking garage chase, which is our final. Oh my god.
This isn't the final confrontation, is it?
Yeah, it is. This is where the guy dies. He's gonna die going out the main bad guy dies driving off of the parking garage level.
Okay. Was there a certain point where you thought that this scene was never going to end?
I did. It was about the third time that they were doing Gary Daniels running from the car. Like, they keep going back. So the whole Gary Daniels is running. It's a circular parking garage. It's going up levels, and Gary Daniels is outrunning a car. And about the third time they cut to a shot of him where the camera's moving in front of him and the car behind him, I went, I think there's something wrong with the movie, or I've entered some sort of temporal nexus.
Repeating.
Yeah, it's like I just it's the same shot.
I would almost like this movie more if it did that for an hour straight. You know what I mean? Because then it would be.
Then it would start to become like
sort of performance art.
Yeah, exactly. It starts to become some sort of artistic commentary on something. I do. There is one moment that's pretty good where when he's gonna bash him into the. He's going to run him into the car. He's like, "I've got you now." And Gary Daniels leaps on top of the car, but throws another IRA guy in front of him, so he crushes his own guy. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. That also, because there's a second car appears at a certain point.
Yeah.
And it was very unclear. That wasn't a very well established thing. So all of a sudden he was on somebody's car.
I think that guy drove up there and he's like, "Oh, I was just behind you and I'm got you." "Oh, no!" Because I think then Gary Daniels takes that car. Because we got to have Gary Daniels, man, I shudder to say this, John Wick style, driving without the door on the car.
Yes.
By the way,
where he's on the roof of the car, punching in a really awkward way that didn't look good at all.
No. But if you want to see the scene done way better, the beginning of John Wick Chapter 2 has that amazing sequence in the car warehouse where he keeps crashing and getting thrown from the car and leaping between cars. By the way, if you just want to see perfect action movies, watch any John Wick movie, because those are the best. If you love cars and gunfights and kung fu, that really does it.
And those movies are mostly action, but the sequences don't feel even though most of it is action, the sequences don't feel tedious.
There is a thing, and you'll hear people talk about this, and when you watch John Wick, that is a perfect example of where the action has narrative. There is a storyline in the action sequences. So it doesn't feel repetitive because it feels like it's going from A to B to C. You're following a progression because those are pure action movies where the action is the story. And good action filmmakers know how to do that, know how to tell story through action. This guy can't, but luckily he's made 18 other action movies, so perfect.
Thank goodness.
It just shows you that just the absolute low bar for these movies, that a guy like this could keep getting directing jobs on these. So it eventually leads to he's gonna drive. They're up on the top of this parking structure. and he's gonna drive Gary Daniels off the top of it finally. But what he doesn't count on is Gary Daniels dives in midair, seems to turn himself.
Yeah.
So that the guy drives off the top of the parking structure, but Gary Daniels is grabbed onto some kind of safety line that just happened to be hanging off of the.
It's not clear. Yeah.
But and our IRA guy just crashes and of course explodes in a giant fireball, as would happen. And Gary Daniels is hanging there, and it's like, yay! And then we get our reporter going, well, the riots have calmed, and we're all thinking about Christmas, and that first Christmas, peace on earth. There's also there's a news report I loved that you just see on TV, and it's at a turned angle, like they've turned the camera on its side, and you're going like, no news person would shoot like that. Would shoot a reporter talking like they're a fucking Batman 66 villain. What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's a
movie?
Dutch angle.
Yeah. When do you ever see that? You don't think of a lot of local news as being like, yeah, let's try something creative here. Let's
try some rack focus for this interview.
I don't expect that. We don't want that on the news.
No. What about a crane shot?
Yeah, we come in and we push in. Anytime I do see that in the news, I am like, what the fuck? Stop it. Don't make the news stylized. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So he's talking about that. And then yes, Gary Daniels has left the ransom money to the family from earlier.
Yes.
He's wrapped it up in newspaper and it says, "I to the family from Santa." And what is this, like $1 million?
Yeah, it's $1 million.
Because it's the other half that he didn't give to the bad guys.
I guess, yeah. Which means he was hiding the money with that family the whole time, which...
Yeah, I guess he... Yeah, well, they never actually say, do they? They never say if he was hiding if they was hiding the money there. We never see him go and get it from somewhere, so it would have to have been at least around there. Oh, that's dumb. Also, I just love the idea about, like, that's not their money. That's like criminal money.
That's not his money to give.
Yeah, it's like it's a nice Christmas sentiment. However, pretty illegal.
Somebody's going to ask where that money went.
And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." Yeah,
and then the family's going to get like the IRA is going to be like, "Where did you get $1 million from?" And he's like,
Yeah, he's actually opened them up for more trouble.
Exactly.
And also, were those bills marked? Is there some sort of tracker in them? Or is a SWAT team going to kick down the... I just kept going like, I don't know, man. I know you think you're being nice, but this might be more trouble than it's worth.
And I was also expecting at the end of the movie for them to go back to his apartment and it's on fire because he left those two children there.
I tried to make another pizza.
You just see their corpses smoking.
And then it rolls. Well, their mom never did come home, I guess.
Roll credits.
Yeah. No, instead it is, yes, he's carrying this woman through the city. And the movie does just end with him going, "Merry Christmas." And the movie
and she goes, "Everyone."
God bless us, everyone. And then credits roll. And that's Riot.
Yeah.
Terrible movie.
Terrible.
Another absolute stinker from the actor. It's not anywhere close to the worst we've seen by
no.
It's very stupid. It
is very classic action.
I was gonna say it's a pretty middle of the road. Like, yep, this is exactly what these movies are like.
Yeah.
It's just poor. Like we said, there's nothing in it that's like embarrassingly bad. It's just poor.
Other than the script.
Yeah, but it's just so poorly executed. It's all just like, it's just weak. The movie is weak and cheap, and nobody knows what they're doing. What do we think? Do we think the guy on fire exploding on the motorcycle is the best kill?
I think so. Yeah,
I think
don't
so.
Think there's
That's
really
pretty hilarious way for somebody to die.
Yeah.
Boy, these are not great choices, I will say, for our one-liners here. So let's we've got, when they put the pool table up, he's got, "Let's close this place." When he's got the ransom money, he tells the guy, "Just call me Santa." The villain saying his mom wanted to be a preacher, he said, "God will God will give you salvation, but he don't give no Mercedes.
Motherfucker.
Before we'll get on. Before shooting down the helicopter, he says, "Time to meet the devil, motherfucker."
Jesus Christ.
And then, when he asked the IRA about their beliefs, the guy says, "Believe in the idea, I'll be cooking you in 2 seconds flat."
Ugh.
Is it time to meet the devil, motherfucker? I feel like that's the only thing approaching, and it's pretty bad. But I feel like that's the only thing approaching what sounds like a normal one-liner.
If we pick that one, then we don't have to think about these one-liners.
There you go. Yeah. So it's time to meet the devil, motherfucker. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't big fans of this movie, Listman, but believe it or not, some people are. And you know, it's always my mission to find the strangest IMDb reviews. And this one took me aback. Although I will say it's in the same. Let's just read this here. This comes to us from IMDb user Sunny11. And the review is titled, "Had a ball watching this movie." I agree with the former article written about this fun movie. This is an example of action movie making at its finest and dwarfs many major studio releases that I have seen, which would have cost 10 times the budget of Riot. This action gem stars British-born Gary Daniels, for my money, the best martial artist in movies today, and his superb fighting skills, combined with the looks and acting ability that many A-list stars will never possess. This makes it a genuine mystery why this man has yet to make it to the top. I don't think it's that much of a mystery. No. Here, Gary plays SAS man Shane Alcott, who fights literally a running battle against expletive-spitting street gangs, and laterally the IRA terrorist hit squad who have kidnapped a girl purely with the intention of luring Alcott into a revenge-based attack. The fight scenes in this movie will leave the viewer begging for more. There can't be more, as we said. They're so long.
Yeah.
And with Gary Daniels churning out action feats like this on a regular basis, they will not be begging for long. An absolutely terrific movie, one of the very best of its kind. 10 out of 10 stars.
Okay.
That person, I don't know what they're talking. I also the acting ability better than most A-list stars. Literally. Anyone who is starring in a studio movie, I'll put over Gary Daniels. Anyone.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Seth Rogen. I'll put him in an action movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that would actually be fun. Actually,
that's kind of Tropic Thunder, isn't it?
Or Pineapple Express.
Oh yes, I was
just going to bring that up because you and I love Pineapple Express, and that sort of is the whole movie is like, can you believe he's doing an action movie?
Oh, that movie is great, actually. Never mind. Woody Allen. There we go.
You gotta let the girl go. I don't want to have to get rough with you. These fists will start flying. Particularly now,
I'm a Taekwondo champion.
I've been taking some karate classes down at the Y. But
with my sparring partner, Susan Sante.
Yeah, who do you think you are, Susan Sante? But it's him now. It's like 85-year-old Woody Allen doing that. Going,
yes.
It's time for me to make my old man action picture.
I have a certain set of skills.
A very particular set of skills. Oh, my God. But somebody just make a fake trailer for Taken with Woody Allen. That would be the best.
Yeah, that'd be very funny.
I will find you and I will kill you. Listen, I was going to read a different review, but since we mentioned Man on Fire, I think you're probably wondering what our old pal Bruce thinks of that movie, right?
I am wondering that, actually.
Because he didn't watch Riot. He would love this movie. There's so much punching, kicking, 100%. Shooting, and exploding in this thing.
Yeah, this is classic divorced dad fodder.
Pure divorced dad fodder. But yes, let's read Bruce's opinion about the Denzel Washington classic Man on Fire in another segment of The Winning Opinion. Here it is, Bruce Winning's review of Man on Fire. This is a short one. Okay. But the review is titled, Will They Love Each Other? I do like the action and violence. I like the shooting. I do like the interaction between the bodyguard and the child. 5 out of 5 stars. This one touched Bruce's heart a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah, that really got to him.
Bruce saw a little bit. I think Bruce saw something in humanity that he'd never seen before.
I love the idea of him going, "Oh, I'm on board for a heartwarming drama as long as there's plenty of killing around it."
Yeah.
Because I will say, those scenes are pretty good. I mean, you've got Denzel who can crush those scenes. And I will say that does have one of the best Denzel moments when the guy's got the bomb in him and he does the, "I wish you had more time." Great stuff, man. I love that movie. But yeah, that's that. Well, we should do a commentary for that one at some point. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Man on Fire rules. Well, listen, next week is the week of Christmas, if you're listening to this when it comes out. And so we got to wrap up our Christmas series with our favorite kind of holiday movie, and that's a holiday disaster film. Nothing
classic.
better than a bunch of destruction around Christmas time. And we were watching. Oh my God, I'm so excited for this because listen, we had a Christmas twister last year.
Yes.
Well, that's just one disaster. What if I told you this year we have the 12 disasters of Christmas?
My God, that's 11 more disasters.
That's 11
than the last movie we watched.
more disasters.
That's a lot of disasters for one film.
That is a lot of disasters for one movie. As always, I will ask, would you like to hear the tagline for this movie?
Oh, yeah.
The ultimate countdown to holiday mayhem.
Okay.
12 disasters of Christmas. I don't know. That's what it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Where can people find this?
This one, unfortunately, you're going to have to shell out some money for. It is available to rent on all the VOD services, but who wouldn't want to support a movie called The 12 Disasters of Christmas?
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks. All right. Well, that's next week on the show. That'll be our big Christmas spectacular. But I think that's going to wrap things up for this week's episode of The Action Shelf. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Isman.
Till next week, get yourself some action.
The Action Show. The Action Show.